Good morning, everybody, dear students. This is Dr. Zulfa again, and today, inshallah, we are going to discuss the last act of the tragedy of Macbeth, and we'll see the result of the murderers, to what end murderers ended. Okay. In scene 1, at Macbeth's castle, there was a gentlewoman who attends Lady Macbeth. This gentlewoman summoned or called a doctor to observe Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking. This is the first scene or the first situation we see Lady Macbeth in, or we see her suffering and her feeling guilty. Okay. She was in sleepwalking. The doctor reports that he has watched her for 2 nights now, and he hasn't seen anything strange. she's not physically sick, but there is something other than physical pain. The gentlewoman describes how she has seen Lady Macbeth rises at night, dresses, puts on her clothes, leave her room, writes something on a piece of paper, and reads it, seal it, covers it, and returns to bed. All of that was without waking up. It was walking. It was sleepwalk. She was okay. The gentlewoman could not repeat what Lady Macbeth says while thus sleepwalking. Okay, she cannot, because she was talking about murdering Duncan, and so this woman who was supposed to be her attendant cannot repeat what she hears about the crime. Okay. Also, another Lady Macbeth continues her hallucination. She enters carrying a candle. The gentlewoman reports that Lady Macbeth asked to have light by her all night. It means that she fears darkness. She wants light to be by her all night. It means that she fears darkness, because when they killed Duncan, they killed him in darkness. So she herself started to fear darkness. Maybe she imagines that someone may kill her in darkness, so she wants light by her. Okay. The doctor and the gentlewoman watch as Lady Macbeth rubs. Another situation, Lady Macbeth rubs her hands as if washing them, and says, "Yet here is a spot. There is a spot of blood on my hand." She means here, yet this is her own speech. Okay, here is a spot. She imagines that there is a spot of blood on her hand. Out, damn spot. Go away, you spot, go away. Out, I say. As she continues to wash her hands, her words betray her guilt. Okay, to the lookers, betray. Now, her words exposes their crime with her husband, exposes the act of murdering Duncan. Okay, Lady Macbeth seems to be remembering the events on the night of Duncan's murder. she cannot get the stain or smell. Now, she cannot get the stain, البقع. She cannot get rid of the stains or the smell of blood on her hands. Still, she imagines that her hand smells with blood. The smell of blood is still on her hands. What will these hands here be clean? How can I clean these hands? All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Now she imagined how awful was the smell of her hands. She imagines that her hands had a very bad smell of blood, that all the perfumes of Arabia will not or would not clean them or make their smell nice. Also, she imagines she hears someone knocking at the door and goes to open the door. Then she returns back to her room. It is a matter of hallucination. Maybe she feels that someone is knocking at the door and that one may kill her. Okay. Okay. What's the theme behind these manners of Lady Macbeth? Now, we can say that as Muslims, for us as Muslims, I remind you of the promise of Allah that the one who murders must be murdered. Al-qatil yuqtal. Nobody, another issue we can understand, or another theme behind these manners of Lady Macbeth, that no one who does something wrong can live in peace. He should suffer in a way or another. So it is a lesson that we should not do anything wrong, big or small. It's not to the extent of murder. Even small wrong things, we have not to do them. In a way or another, you will feel guilty, and in a way or another, you will be punished from Allah. إن الله لا يضيع مثقال ذرة. Okay, so let's be always doing good, let's be always doing something good. Okay, let's be always fear Allah. These are general themes, not only in Macbeth's tragedy, but also it is something universal. This is our beliefs as Muslims, and this is the belief also that Shakespeare has when he wrote his tragedy. So this is something assisted by Allah. These beliefs are assisted by Allah. They are coming from Allah. Okay, whatever your nationality, or whatever the nationality of people, whatever the nationality, the language, what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. Here are points that you have to remember for your exam, the blue and the yellow ones. Act 5, Scene 2. Now, the war against Macbeth has started. Now, Danes of Scotland, Angus, Lennox, Menteith, all collected an army of about 1,000 soldiers, and they moved in their army towards Birnam Wood to meet Malcolm, who has his own soldiers supported by the English army. Their purpose was, as they announced, their purpose was to purge the country of Macbeth's sickening influence. Okay? In Act 5, Scene 3, we see now here Macbeth is receiving in his castle, Dunsinane, Macbeth is receiving the news of the army who is moving towards his castle. Okay. But however, he feels consoled. Why does he feel consoled? This is a very important thing. Still Macbeth feels that he is safe. He feels consoled. He feels that he is safe. Okay. Why? Because of the prophecy of the witches who told him that he could not be conquered or could not be beaten until Birnam Wood comes to his castle, Dunsinane, or until he counters someone who was not born from a woman to kill him. So he was feeling safe because these two prophecies are impossible to be achieved or to come true. So Macbeth feels invincible, cannot be beaten. So he was feeling safe. You have to remember these two yellow words, consoled and invincible. Why? It is the prophecies behind. Now, when one of the servants enters the room at Macbeth's room and told him about the army which were coming towards his castle, he sent him away and insulted him for his cowardice. He told him that he was a coward because he fears the enemies. Then he called Seton, one of his attendants or one of his helpers or servants, to help him to put his armor, the military clothes. Macbeth demands the doctor also and asks him for the prognosis about Lady Macbeth. What did he understand about Lady Macbeth's case? So the doctor told him that she was not physically sick, but she has some troubled visions, as you see here. She imagines something wrong. Okay, so Macbeth was angry and he asked the doctor to find any way to do anything to find medicine for her. And suddenly he left the room and announced, he was upset, and he announced that he does not fear death or pain. Still, he's feeling safe. He does not fear death or torture. Pain means torture, until Birnam Wood comes to his castle, Dunsinane. Okay. Now here in scene 5, we see that that Malcolm orders the soldiers to cut branches of trees of the wood of Birnam Wood, and to walk hidden by these branches. He wanted them to disguise, to be hidden, okay, from the enemy, okay? And so here we have to see that the prophecy is coming true. Now, Birnam Wood is moving by the men who are carrying the branches of trees towards Macbeth's castle. Now, when Macbeth heard these news that Birnam Wood is moving towards him, he started to fear the situation, to feel afraid. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll continue later, inshallah, from 5 to 11 scenes. Okay. Take care of the colored points as keys for your exams.